So our theme for 2020 has been perception. What is our impression of life and us in it? What do we grasp, acknowledge, understand, believe, recognize, and reveal? You know, amid the pandemic, the fires, and all the other conditions, good, bad, or indifferent throughout this year, we have brought you answers and tools and even more questions to ask in order to upgrade your perception about how your life works, how my life works. I learn as well. Now, this may be the final Sunday celebration of 2020, but it is not a look back. I am not here to look back. Now, I know, like many people, I'm sure that you would like to forget most of 2020. The lockdown, work and school on Zoom, toilet paper shortages, long lines at the grocery store, et cetera, et cetera. You know, if 2020 was a person, I'd probably sue them for pain and suffering. Or if I had to give 2020 an Amazon or a Yelp review, it'd probably get 1 star, not recommended. But, you know, a lot of good things happened. I read a lot of books. Did you read a lot of books this year? I got to, and I don't know about you, but I pretty much finished all of Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, and Disney Plus by July, I think. So I had a lot of time to read a lot of books. But I think I feel like you that 2020 was much like an episode of Twilight Zone, which I got through all of those too. It made the Tiger King guy seem like normal. And for me, sweats were the predominant pant for 2020. In fact, I'm wearing them right now, which is why you only see me from here up. And social distancing, yeah, we did a lot of that, didn't we? I never thought I would touch them. I never thought the phrase, I wouldn't touch them with a 6-foot pole, would become national policy for our health, for God's sakes. And remember in the beginning when we were singing happy birthday twice while washing our hands? You know, for a while there, every time I went to the bathroom, I came out and kids expected me to have a cake with me. But this morning, I don't want to look back. I want to review our year of perception, but not to look back, to look forward. As the Talmud said, we see the world not as it is, but as we are. So what are we? What is our perception? You know, we started our year learning about perception through the elements, air, earth, water, fire. The air taught us to have ventilation, to allow ventilation through revelation, to clear the air of our conditions, whether we attracted them somehow, they were brought into this world and we were a part of it, wherever these conditions came from, to clear the air and breathe the air of truth. For as we breathe the air of truth, so too does in our lives, in our experiences, show up. To keep away the fear, the despair of the news, and there was a lot. The climate, the idiots in the government. We grounded ourselves to Mother Earth. We learned that foundation, that grounding, that centering brought strength, allowed us to gain strength from the profound power of the Mother Gaia. And to live out our fullest, we learned to become the lake. Not to be around the lake, but to become the lake that flushes out the negative with overflowing positive, that keeps movement in our lives, filling our minds and hearts with the best words, the loftiest ideas, the most loving thoughts, the greatest, most inspiring music, All this gives us a base empowered by truth to endure if we must, to optimize, to be smart, to be centered, and to have vitality, joy, wisdom, and love on high, bringing that level to high. Ernest Holmes wrote in Creative Mind and Success, all the power and intelligence of the universe is already within, waiting to be utilized. The divine spark, the fire, must be fanned into a blaze of the living fire of your own divinity. A blaze of the living fire of your own divinity, that divinity that is within each and every one of us, that divine spark that moves us from here to there, that upgrades us, that uplifts us, that brings us to new ideas. We all have heard, and Caressa just mentioned it, and it was perfect. We all have heard that seeing is believing, yes? However, believing creates the seeing. And we learned last year that seeing God in everything creates a harmony, creates a power, creates a base, a foundation for all the dreams we have put into the clouds, so that they can be experienced in our lives, whatever those dreams are, whatever those ideas are. And as we do that, when we remove the obstructions in our perceptions, when we remove the obstructions from our history, whether that was last month, last year, or 10 years ago, we find that we have a vision of infinite possibilities. We also learn to not squint at this vision, but to try to focus on it. And when trying doesn't work, to do it, to focus on that vision. And when we focus on that vision, we are open to change, to transform, to transcend. When we squint, it leads to double vision. You know, when you squint because for some reason you're myopic or something, I'm myopic, then you try to see better by squinting. Well, that leads to double vision. That leads to a false sense of clarity. That's not true clarity. We don't have to squint. All we have to do is open our eyes wide, the ones here in our head and the one in our heart and in our gut. Open them wide to the luminescence of divine wisdom that is within right here and right now, that is available with the infinite possibilities of the universe. And allow it to reflect in everything we think, feel, and do. As we perceive through the divine feminine, which is within all of us, that creativity, we tap into a foresight, a creative wisdom that is there and available for each and every one of us, nurturing the nature of our inherent spiritual perfection, and thus suiting us up for constant success, or suiting us up with a power to achieve that constant success, because sometimes we forget we have that power. Walt Whitman wrote, "The moment you stand up and claim your divinity, Christ is reborn within your heart. Buddha rejoices. Muhammad dances upon the mountaintop. Lao Tzu winks approvingly, and the promise of the tree of life is fulfilled. And I know that the hand of God is the promise of my own, and I know that the Spirit of God is the brother of my own, and that all men ever born are also my brothers, and the women, my sisters." Perception and focus go hand in hand. Remember this story that I told. A small boy was wandering in the woods and saw a monk sitting on a rock. He went up to the monk and asked him to impart a bit of wisdom. And the monk looked at the small boy and said, "My child, be a lion, not a dog." Puzzled, the boy asked, what does that mean, be a lion, not a dog? When you throw a ball at a dog, asked the monk, what does he or she do? Well, the dog chases the ball, the boy replied. Yes, said the monk, but if you threw it at the lion, it wouldn't care at all about the ball. Its attention would be on you who threw the ball, not the object. You. Now think about it. If someone is throwing balls at a lion, what happens next when the lion turns to look? The person throwing the ball better run away before he gets eaten, the small boy replies. Correct, my boy. The lion stays put, focused on you, waiting to grab hold of you. Confused, the small boy asked the monk, that's a scary story, teacher. What am I supposed to learn from that other than don't throw a ball at a lion? Like the lion, my friend. Always focus on the source, not the incidents, not the effects. Go to the source. The source, my friends, is spirit. The source and substance of all your supply is spirit. And we reach that intentionally through our highest self, through the wisdom, the divine wisdom and in love. Through our highest self with clear and present certainty, we are then free to see it and live it. Do you perceive yourself as a maverick of intention? Do you use your imagination and faith, knowing the universe is your ally, to end the war on lack or limitation of any kind in your life? The universe is your ally. It is there to bring forth into your experience that which you declare, that which you reveal. As we perceive life through the roots of our nature, we commune with the power of all of life, and we consecrate ease and awareness in any situation, in any condition. With the seeds of faith as part of our divine tapestry, the divine tapestry of all, we are unified in the one, in the power of the one. And then we can dedicate our mind and heart to do the God in us thing. Just do it, the God in you thing. We may pray and meditate with persistence and gusto, and I understand and I get it. Sometimes that's hard. Sometimes it's hard for me too. For whatever reason, time, junk going on in monkey mind head stuff. But when we do sit, when we do take the time intentionally to focus and center ourselves and ground ourselves and allow divine intelligence and love to speak through us, we no longer toil in life. When we stay in tune with the divine, it gives us the tools to carve out what it is we want, what it is we desire or require in our lives. Not to think of it just logically with wishes and hopes, but with the power of the heart and the spirit and the source and creation of all life. Perception has also taught us this year to give credit where credit is due. And where is that credit due? Right here in the heart, right here within you. Each of us is a conduit. Each of us is the sun. Each of us is the connection to that spirit, to that highest self. And when we soak in the energy of the universe and creation with gratitude, when we soak that in, when we live and move and think and feel with gratitude, when we commune and are in tune with the divine that is within us as well as around us, we do indeed put foundations under our castles in the air. And we then too can wrap up our greatest manifestations with a bow, because they're showing up right here, right now. We don't always see it. As satirist Jonathan Swift reminded us, real vision is the ability to see the invisible, to see gravity, not just experience it, to see love, not just feel it and experience it, to see the divine within us and around us, not just intellectualize it or listen to some philosophy, but to feel it and be it and live it. For even when frustrations arise, we can rage. We can weep and rage and then breathe and then sing through it. And let the divine love light the way. And let divine love give us the power, give us the chutzpah, give us whatever we need to lay down our burdens and our shadows and step through them so that we vibrate at the speed of the divine at all times. I ask you not to forget 2020, but to learn from it, not to be pissed about it, but to release this anger or disappointment and forgive it. I ask you not to look back, but to look forward. Some of 2020 is going to follow us into 2021, but our perceptions of those events, how we relate to them, how we react to them, doesn't have to. Let's take 2021. By using the advice a la King Henry from Shakespeare's Henry V. When he said, once more unto the breach, dear friends, once more, imitate the action of the tiger, stiffen the sinews, conjure up the blood, set the teeth and stretch the nostril wide, breathe and bend up every spirit to its full height. Show us here, right here and now, the mettle of your pasture. Let us swear that you are worth your divine breeding, which I doubt not, and hath noble luster in your eyes. The game's afoot, my friends, the year anew. Follow your spirit, and upon this charge cry, God is for me and all the world. In peace, vitality, joy, prosperity, and love. Happy New Year, my beloved friends, and happy New You. Namaste.